understandably, I've never really played a BC Rich guitar. Well, not in any meaningful way at least. I've been in bands with guys that had them, but I just never really got into the aesthetic. And love it or hate it, it's undeniable that these guitars are really made for a specific type of player. You know, one that was probably really into Pantera and then graduated into extreme metal via a gateway band like Cradle Filth or Cannibal Corpse. I'm kind of describing myself here. Anyways, you guys ask about these all the time, and the truth is it just hasn't been a top priority. I always keep an eye for them on the used market, but when it comes to BC Rich, to be honest, I'm a little intimidated to buy them because of my complete lack of knowledge when it comes to the history. If any of you have seen 𝐏𝐿𝐄𝐻's video on the subject, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There's been a lot of weirdness over the years with the BC Rich brand, but I've been thinking about it so much more recently for some reason. I'm sure watching the human muscle that is Kevin Frazar completely decimate them on Instagram probably isn't helping. So that leads me to today's sponsor, GearExchange. GearExchange is the online platform that the kids refer to as GX. I don't know if that's a real thing, but it was in the brief. GearExchange offers you 0 fees with gift card payouts, and of course you can take cash payouts with as low as 7.5% rates with no hidden fees or costs ever. You can get lower shipping costs using Sweetwater's negotiated shipping rates and the same outstanding customer service that you've come to know and love from Sweetwater. So if that sounds appealing to you, or you are looking for another spot to score some used gear, check out GearExchange. And thank you to Sweetwater and GearExchange for sponsoring this video so I can finally get a BC Rich. Okay, I'm on GearExchange, or GX if you want to be LA about it, but I'm on GearExchange and I want to find a BC Rich, dude. You know, I've been looking around on different websites and like I've had this sort of stuff in the back of my mind, but you know, this seems like a good opportunity here to look around and find something. Okay, oh, there's a Mockingbird Masterpiece for $390. String through body, bolt on neck. You know, the thing about this is I don't really know that much about BC Rich guitars. I feel a little bit out of my element here, but hopefully we can find something, or else this video is gonna be a total bust. 1986 BC Rich, bitch. $2,800. See, this is what I'm saying. Some of these guitars go for just so much money and I just don't know the differences in between all of them. Maybe I need to like look for something newer. This is so cool, man. This War Beast. This is a cool shape. I like that a lot, but I think $2,000 is a little bit out of my budget for this. Got a couple bases here. Oh, there's one Ironbird in this whole lineup. Let's check this out. Prophecy MK2 with Floyd Rose, listed 12 days ago. Okay, so it's relatively new. It has a DiMarzio pickup in it. Interesting, interesting. Would be sick if it had a reverse headstock, but they can't all be winners, I guess, huh? Looks like we have a strap button position change. This is a really easy fix. You know, $800 is not bad. What do these things cost new? I mean, you know, it's like a $299 less. Let's just see. Let's see how this works here. I've never actually bought anything on GearExchange or GX, whatever. So let's see. I can make an offer. I can check out now and add it to my watch list. Let's see how fast he gets back to me. I'll send him a little message too, so he knows I'm not like a bot or something. Okay, make an offer. 48 hours to respond to my offer. So let's see what happens here. Wheelin' dealin'. All right, that was super fast. I'm just sitting here working on a thumbnail. It's been like 15 minutes or something. And you can see he already accepted my offer. So I'm gonna pay for, oh, it's just got very blue. So I'm gonna pay for this thing, and then yeah, we'll pick up this video once it gets here. Much excite.
Several days later.
I'm equal parts excited and horrified a little bit here. Let me show you why. So I've been waiting for this guitar to show up for a couple weeks now, and it's just like loose inside this box. The box is like in really good shape, so I'm hoping, I mean, it's a pointy guitar, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta pack these things well. And I'm just hoping that it got packed well. Hopefully this GearExchange video doesn't have to take a turn about GearExchange's buyer protection. That would suck. But anyways, let's open it up and see what happens here. I mean, it is in one of these 2-ply cardboard boxes, so it's sturdy, but man, if this thing doesn't have some sort of okay, we might be saved here. We'll see. There's a lot of empty space in this box, but this was over the headstock. So the headstock, there's a lot of bubble wrap on the guitar itself. We do have, oh man, so cool. Okay, we do have extra cardboard in the box. Jesus Christ. All the void fills in the bottom of the box, Jesus. Okay, it's got a lot of bubble wrap on it. So hopefully that means it survived its journey. This is so much bubble wrap, I gotta sit down. You know, I feel like this part of the journey is important to document, especially for this type of video, you know, because you're buying something online. The thrill, the anticipation of waiting for something and then showing up and getting to open it. I can see one horn right now, and there's no chips in it, so that's a good sign. Oh, dude. And the other horn is okay as well. I shipped it with the whammy bar in. That's funny. Oh, dude. Yeah, buddy. This thing looks great, dude. It's in great condition. Now, this was in the listing, but you can see where the strap button was moved back here. So, you know, I'll just get a little bit of wood filler and yeah, you'll never even know that was there. But other than that, it is in great shape. It is perfect. I am so pumped to get this thing set up and try it out. Yeah, we got to do that. So yeah, I couldn't wait. I just actually wanted to plug this thing in and chug on it because it's so fucking cool. The setup is really, really good on it too. This thing plays so well. And one of the things, I think it's kind of a misconception. You know, some people say, oh, these pointy sort of extreme shape, they're so uncomfortable to play and they're so, I mean, it's kind of bulky. It is a little bit. And I'm sure that, you know, we'll test, we'll see if it has neck dive. This strap button has been relocated in a position where it does feel like it's going to cause it to neck dive. You know, maybe the original strap position here would have been better, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But I can tell you the misconception that just because a guitar has an extreme shape means it's uncomfortable is ridiculous. This guitar plays and feels so good in the hands. This is a BC Rich Prophecy Ironbird MK2. It features a Naoto body with a 3-piece maple neck through neck. The neck shape is listed as Shredzilla, but I would call this a shallow C. We will measure this here in this video. It has a radius of 14 inches and the fingerboard material is made out of ebony. It also has 24 jumbo frets and a scale length of 25.5 inches. On the hardware end, we have a Floyd Rose 1000 series tremolo, Grover Rotomatic 18:1 ratio tuners, and a single DiMarzio Super Distortion humbucker with one volume control with a push-pull coil split. And I mean, specs are one thing on a guitar, but with a guitar like this, I think you really need to just take a look at the aesthetic. I mean, look at this thing. It looks like a weapon. Man, it just feels and sounds so good. Now I'm playing through my newest amplifier acquisition, the Laren Prometheus, and this thing is a beast in its own right. This rig feels right to me. This rig feels very much me in a lot of ways. I don't actually know what tuning I'm in right now. I'm literally just playing this thing the way it came set up to me, which luckily was incredibly excellent. Okay, I'm in D standard. Okay, so this guitar is set up in D standard, it looks like. I'm gonna set it up in C standard. I'll walk you guys through that process, but yeah, it's just, it's really good, man. The only other guitar that I've played that really plays somewhat like this is Radical Instrument Products Star Destroyer. That guitar has an incredibly thin and fast neck, and this neck probably hangs with it. We'll measure it when we set it up, but it feels thin, super thin. Okay, man, this is a lot of fun. I need to set this thing up though in my normal C standard tuning. Let's get to doing that. Strings are off. I haven't greased up the neck yet. I just thought I'd give you guys a look at this. Now, this is a used guitar, so I mean, I don't think anything I'm gonna show you is indicative of BC Rich's manufacturing, or if you bought one of their guitars, what it would show up to you like. But you know, we do a little bit of wear on the frets. It's really not bad. I'm just gonna polish this out by hand. I think it's mostly just dirt, but you know, I would say like it's in very good shape. Very good shape. We got some scratches down here, you know, nothing major. We do have a push-pull, I didn't even realize that. If you saw the specs already and you're like, how did you not know that? You read that to me. Spoiler, I didn't shoot this video in a linear fashion, so anything that I put at the beginning of the video, including probably the specifications, I did after I shot this part. Everything looks good. These aren't my favorite tuners, but they feel really good. They're super fluid. You know, they don't feel like there's any jank in them or anything. Okay, let's see if we can't quantify this neck here and see if this is just perception on my part. 20.3435 at the nut. Let's see the first fret here. 19.89 at the first fret. And just a hair over 22 at the 12th fret. So this is actually a little bit thicker than like a Jackson neck, for example, which would be, you know, 19-ish, 19 and a half-ish up here at the first fret, and then maybe like 21 and a half-ish at the 12th fret. However, I think the reason that this neck feels so much thinner and speedier is because the actual shape of the neck is a little bit more shallow C-shaped, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by that measurement, but you know, that's why I do it. I just want to see if I'm a crazy person, you know? There's a reason placebos work, right? So yeah, let's get back to it. Okay, so I cleaned off the fretboard with fast fret, which is what I typically do. However, this is my guitar, and it's very unlikely to leave my collection. I really enjoyed this guitar a lot. So I decided to use some, this is Milsec. It's like antique wood furniture restoration. This is not my favorite. I like the Newman that smells like oranges, but I'll be damned if I can find where my bottle of it is. So I'm just using this now. Now with this, I'm actually letting it soak into the wood right now. And it's not that this fretboard was particularly dry or anything. I just want to take really good care of it. Like I said, you know, I really like this guitar a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna let that soak into the fretboard here for a while, and then I'll dry it all up and get this thing restringed. Just thought I'd explain that if you're watching the time lapse and you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Now you know. Okay, everything is strung up, intonated, adjusted, finally. It was a little tricky. I spent a little bit of extra time doing it though. You know what I mean? I wanted this to be really, really good. I did notice one thing that kind of sucks. I mean, it doesn't really bother me too much, but you know, it is worth mentioning here, and I'll tell you why. So in the listing, this guy did point out that, you know, he moved the strap button from here to here. I think this kind of doesn't make sense. We'll find out. We're gonna test the neck dive here in just one second, because I might actually move this back to here. But what he didn't say, and what I discovered, is that what I thought was just like some gunk on the back of the neck here, this is actually a hole. So he tried to move, which is so goofy, he tried to move the strap button here onto the neck. I'm assuming to combat some neck dive. People, man. So, you know, I'm guessing that probably, well, let's just see. Let's just test the neck dive. I'm just imagining a world where this dude can figure out how to combat the neck dive on this guitar and gave up on it, and that's why he sold it. Okay, let's see how bad. Oh yeah, that's hot garbage there. You know, I guess maybe it's an aesthetic thing that you would want to move this here, and I kind of actually understand that. We're just gonna put this guy back, and hopefully this is not, feels kind of soft. Hopefully this hole isn't stripped. This guitar might be more work than I originally thought. Not that having a stripped out hole like that is a ton of extra work, but I wasn't planning on having to deal with this situation at all. By the way, for those of you that asked, this is a screwdriver kit for working on computers, so it has cool things like this, where you can put a bit on the end of it and then twist it, you know, at an angle. It's kind of nice for things like this where you gotta get into a weird position. It feels pretty tight. I think we're gonna be okay. I wonder if this is just a thing about these guitars. Because of the curvature of the horn here, you can't actually get this button down all the way. I gotta look this up now. Hold on. Where's the button on these things normally? So this is the situation with this guitar. It looks like this is the original position where the strap button was, and that this dude tried to put it here, probably to combat the neck dive, and then moved it back here before he sold it. Okay, this is making a lot more sense now. And then this other position was just like a Hail Mary or something, I don't know. It's unfortunate, because, you know, it's like a spot on the back of the neck, but it doesn't bother me that much. The unfortunate part of this is that, you know, if you can see that, there's like some gap, like this doesn't sit flush in there. So, I don't know how that's gonna work, but let's try it. It's much better. Still a little bit of neck dive though. I mean, it was atrocious back here though, so this is definitely better here. I think I'm gonna leave this here for now, but this guitar still has a ton of neck dive. Like, it's just, you know, there's a lot of it. It doesn't want to stay, even with this big strap on. I said strap on. All right, we're back. Everything is set up now. This thing is just as much of a ripper as it was before. Surprise, surprise. Let's turn on the boost here so we have the noise gate as well. You know, I have some opinions on this guitar, but the first opinion that I have is kind of with the DiMarzio pickup. The DiMarzio pickup doesn't have as much like articulation as I normally like, and you can really tell when you play fast chord, like this riff right here. Those high notes kind of get drowned out a little bit. And I've also noticed that with the DiMarzio, when you go to clean, this is a very, very clean channel. And now we do have the coil tap. Yeah, just not my favorite. You know what? I probably should have lowered this pickup a little. Let's give this pickup the benefit of the doubt. Let's just lower it just a hair. I want to be fair here, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's not the pickup, maybe it's the man. This thing was pretty close to the string, so, you know, maybe the pickup height will make a big difference there. You know, I probably don't need the strap anymore, right? We got the strap thing covered. We understand the neck dive now. It is an issue on this guitar for sure. Let's go back to a clean channel again and see what lowering that pickup. I mean, I lowered it quite a bit. It's probably about twice as far away from the strings now, which is not saying a ton because it was really close before, but yeah, let's see what that did to the clean. Oh yeah, much better now, like significantly. Okay, so there you go. Very hot pickup, doesn't need to be so close to the strings. Oh, it sounds so much better on the clean channel now. Yeah, that dramatically changed my opinion on these pickups. It's very, very noticeably less scratchy. And probably a lot of you are like, yeah, duh, Taylor, like, but you know, I don't always think of these things. It helps, but it's still not like as articulate and pick-attacky as like my EMG 81 or specifically the 81X. And it's not that it doesn't sound good, it does sound good. It just is lacking some of the characteristics that I like. Okay, this guitar is a lot of fun to play if you could get around the neck dive. Now there's a couple of other things that I want to point out here as well, and take this with a grain of salt because, again, I'm not like a BC Rich player, but there are a few small details that I find interesting, and maybe, you know, an $1,100 price range isn't, I mean, I would consider an $1,100 price range the high end of the mid-tier. You're starting to cross the threshold into what I would call luxury guitars. With that being said, I really appreciate that they have the satin neck and that it's taped off here. However, when you look at it very closely, you can see all of the scratches and the abrasions, like they did this with steel wool. Does that matter to you? I don't know. I'm just letting you know the information, but maybe that matters to you, you know, especially like you're paying $1,100 for a guitar. Maybe you're like, oh, I don't want to look at this scratchy nonsense. People always talk about just like taking steel wool and, you know, satin finishing your own necks. And I saw this and I was like, wow, that actually, I should do that on one of my guitars. So I do want to do this on one of my guitars in the future and try it out. We do have Grover tuners on this guitar. You know, we do have a DiMarzio pickup. We do have a Floyd Rose 1000. We have the backplate with the easy access to the claw. I really appreciated that. The neck carve is beautiful on this guitar. You know, we have a really deep neck carve. I mean, you can get all the way up here. It's a very, very comfortable guitar to play sitting down. It's a little bit tricky to play standing up. And BC Rich figured out the jack placement too. It kind of drives me crazy when you have guitar makers that make like extreme shaped guitars, but then put the jack in just a really silly place where it's gonna like poke you or get in the way. You know, I mean, it's like, just put it out of the way, put it back here. Anyways, despite this guitar's glaring imperfections and some of the things that came from like the other owner, this is one that I want to keep into my collection. I just really like it. I like the shape a lot. I think it looks badass, dude. I think it looks cool as shit. You might disagree with me on that. That's okay. But it plays really well too. It does. It plays really nice and fast. I'm just stoked to finally have a BC Rich in my collection. All right, if you guys have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Gear Exchange for sponsoring this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like button. If you really like what I do here on this channel, consider subscribing or being super OP and joining these beautiful people over here on Patreon, where you get behind the scenes access to these videos. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Oh, shit.